Hey kids, how are you today? I'm so glad to see you. Thank you for watching us online this week to keep up with what's all happening in GFC Kids World. We got a brand new series, so I'm excited about today to kick all that off. But before we go any further, we got to have some fun. So let's play a game together. Now here's how it's going to work. What we're going to have is some crazy, weird facts about some animals pop up on the screen. You have to decide whether it's true or false. So if you think it's true, stand up. If you think it's false, stay seated. Let's see how your knowledge is on some weird facts about animals. Here we go. Well, I think it's safe to say those were some pretty interesting facts that we learned about some animals today. Well, listen, again, I am glad that you are here with us because it's a new month, which means a new series. And this month of September, we're having a block party. You know what a block party is, don't you? It's kind of like when you get all the friends in your neighborhood and hang out together, or maybe everyone in the apartment complex there, and you just hang out together in the yard. You're playing games, you're dancing, eating some food off the grill, stuff like that. So we're going to have a block party all month long because we're learning about friendship. Here's what I want you to remember about friendship. Friendship is using your words and actions to show others that you care. You know, everyone wants to be a good friend, but sometimes we might not be the best at showing it. Sometimes we might have to stop and think about putting others before ourselves. You know, God can help us choose to be good friends to others, and He can help us choose to surround ourselves with friends who help us grow closer to Him. You know, speaking of choosing and speaking of friends, I think it's time for another game, and we're going to see if you can read our friend's mind today. Oh, no. It's not Mike. No, we're giving Mike the day off. This week, we're going to see if we can figure out what Tank is thinking about. Well, I hope you guys enjoy getting to meet Tank and try to read his mind. Man, that is one big tortoise. Well, listen, it is time to get up on your feet because it is now time to sing some praise to God. I love getting to sing to Him because it's just our way of singing and telling Him thank you for all the good things that you've done in our life, how you've blessed us, the friends that you've given us, and all those kind of things. So I want you to stand up and sing out together. Now, we got a brand new song for this series, and the title of this song is called Friend Like You. Now, I realize it's going to be new to you, but as you learn it, sing it out with me, all right? Are you ready? Here we go.
Jesus, you have been so faithful. Jesus, you have been so true. I will be forever thankful, 'cause I never had a friend like you. Help me to be who you've been to me, to everyone I see. Let us love one another with a love like no other yet. That's the way you love us, God. Never turn away, you are with us every day, yeah. That's the way you love us, God. Your love has always been beginning to end. There's never been a better friend. So let us love one another with our love like no other, yeah. That's the way you love us, God. You with me in the darkest valley. You with me on the mountaintop. I'm thankful that you never leave me, and that your love will never stop. Help me to be who you've been to me, to everyone I see. Let us love one another with a love like no other, yeah.
what a great song, and we're going to have fun learning that together this month. Well, listen, before we sing one more song, why don't we have a word of prayer? And I try to remind you of this as often as I can. You remember what prayer is, right? Prayer is when we get to talk to God. How awesome is that? That God will allow us to talk to Him anytime we want to, and He'll listen. So prayer is when we talk to God, but how does God talk to us? Through the Bible. You're exactly right. You know, we don't hear God speak in an audible voice, but we hear Him speak to us through His Word, the Bible. And you know what? Some of you, I get it. You're not at a place where you can read and understand all of that just yet, but maybe you could talk your mom and dad or an older brother or sister into reading the Bible to you. Or if you have like a tablet or something like that, you could talk them into downloading a couple of different Bible apps and you can listen to it there. It's so much fun. So I hope you always remember that prayer and reading our Bible is vitally important for us growing in our spiritual life. So we're going to pray right now and we'll get into the Word a little bit later, okay? Let's bow our head, close our eyes, and pray. Lord Jesus, thank you so much for the day. Thank you for letting us be with these kids, Lord, virtually online and here at the school on the weekend. God, we're so thankful for each and every one of them. Lord, I know this has been a weird summer for some of them. And Lord, going back to school this year doesn't look exactly like what it looked like last year. So Lord, any fears or anxieties that they may have, I pray that you will just help them overcome those things in their life, and that they'll find peace and rest in you and know that you're in control, you're in charge, and none of this is over your head. God, today we're excited to bring this new series to them, learning about the importance of friendships and choosing our friends wisely. So I pray and ask that you'll help me, Lord, that you'll give me the words that I need so that I can communicate in a way that they will understand it and know how to apply it to their hearts and lives this week. Continue to be with our church. Continue to be with Pastor Roy. Lord, be with the families in our church. Many of them, God, have been so faithful in their commitment to giving to the building project and staying faithful in giving in their tithes and offerings, and we're so grateful for that. And God, we just pray that you will bless them for their faithfulness and continue to keep your hands on the ministry here at our church. So Lord, we love you and we thank you for all that you're doing, and we ask these things in your name. Amen. All right, kids, let's sing one more song and then we're going to get into the lesson, okay?
You are above every other. Your love amazes me. You created every beautiful color for everyone to see. I want the world to know, I want my life to show just what your love has done for me. In your love I'm free, in your love I'm forgiven, forgiven. Your love, it makes me sing, your love, it gives me a reason to lift my voice, yeah. I lift my voice, yeah. You are the giver of all things good and perfect. I give you all of my praise, God, 'cause only you deserve it. I want the world to know, I want my life to show just what your love has done for me. In your love I'm free, in your love I'm forgiven, forgiven. Your love, it makes me sing, your love, it gives me a reason to lift my voice, yeah. I lift my voice, yeah.
Well, all right, kids, let's dive into this new series about Block Party and learning all about friendship. Hey, raise your hand if you think that friendship is important. You better believe I got my hand up. I have many friends and I'm thankful for them. And you know what? Here's the thing, God thinks that friendship is important as well. And God will help us through His Word to learn how to be a good friend and then how to choose the right friends to surround ourselves with who will encourage us and, push us along and helping us make the right decisions. So we're going to be in the book of Ecclesiastes today. I know that's a big name, but it's in the Old Testament. And there's some verses there that's really going to give us an idea of just what friendship is and how it works and why it's so important. You know, the book of Ecclesiastes, there's some that believe that it was written by Solomon. Solomon was one of David's sons, and Solomon became a very wealthy person, a very wealthy king. And God told him one day, he said, look, ask for anything you want, and I'll give it to you. Well, Solomon had a huge opportunity here. Ask God for anything, and He'll give it to me. Wow. What do you think he asked for? Well, he didn't ask for 1,000 chicken nuggets. And he didn't ask to beat every level on all of the video games that he had in his collection. No, instead, Solomon asked for wisdom. And Solomon is known now as one of the wisest people to have ever lived. So how can I help you guys understand some of these verses and learn about friendship? I have an idea. I'll be right back. Okay, kids, I think I've got this figured out on how I can try to illustrate this to you, okay? So why is friendship so important? Well, first of all, friends get more done. Hopefully you can see that on the box there. Friends get more done. In Ecclesiastes, in chapter number 4, verse 9, this is what we read. It says, 2 people are better than one. They can help each other in everything they do. So again, friends get more done together. Oh, yeah, this has got some... Have you ever tried to move something heavy by yourself? It was just a little bit hard to do. Well, when we have friends, they can help us move some of those big objects that we just can't always do by yourself. And when you have them there to help you, it makes it much easier. You can get things done. So friends help each other get more done. You know, maybe you're stuck on a certain level of your video game and you just can't seem to get past it. Well, you know, maybe a friend could help you out with that. Or perhaps maybe you're stuck on a problem with your homework. You could call one of your friends or get with them before class the next day, and maybe they could help you out with some of that, because friends get more done together. You know, having the right kind of friends makes it easier to get stuff done. And that's not all that friends do to help each other, though. Friends also help each other. Can you see that? Friends help each other. Now listen to what Solomon wrote in chapter 4 and verse 10 of Ecclesiastes. Suppose either person falls down, then the one can help the other up. But suppose a person falls down and doesn't have anyone to help them up, then feel sorry for that person. What do you think would happen if, well, let's see what's in, what do you think would happen if you went to play soccer and you forgot to tie your shoes? These are Grace's shoes. I should have known better. Whew, girl, get some odor eaters. But what would happen if you played soccer and you forgot to tie your shoes? You'd trip and fall all over the soccer field, wouldn't you? Well, you know, what if you were the one that saw a friend fall down? What would you do? Would you just ignore him? Of course you wouldn't. You would go over there and you'd help him out, because that's what friends do. You might even see them just before the game starts and notice that their shoes are untied and go to them and say, hey, buddy, you might want to tie those shoelaces up there because the game's about to start and you're going to be tripping and falling. So, it doesn't just happen when we're playing soccer. There's other chances to help friends all of the time. Maybe one of your friends from school is at home sick. What could you do to be a good friend to them? Well, maybe you could make a card for them and send it over there to try to cheer them up, or maybe give them a phone call or a text and just tell them a goofy joke just to get them laughing. That can always go a long way, and that's being a good friend. Maybe they're just having a bad day. Maybe they just had a really, really, really bad day. They got in trouble from the teacher, and then they forgot their homework assignment from the night before, and it just, one bad thing continued to pile up on top of the other. Well, maybe you could go home and get with your mom or dad and make them a fresh batch of homemade chocolate chip cookies. Hey, cookies always make me feel better, so maybe it would help a friend feel better. But let's see what else friends do. Here it is. Friends stand up for each other. Can you see it on this one? Friends stand up for each other. One person can sometimes easily be overpowered just by themselves, and feel just a little bit overwhelmed. Yeah, that can happen. And you see, a good friend, though, will always, always have your back. And the two of you together, yeah, now that makes a difference. A good friend will cheer you up and help you out, and you don't feel quite so overwhelmed anymore. A good friend is somebody that, let's just say you're playing basketball and you don't make that layup. A good friend will be there to catch your rebounds. Or maybe you have an argument with someone. Your friend can speak up and defend you. If you're just having a not good, terrible, very bad day, you know what? Your friends will be there to listen, because a good friend will always stand up for you. But what else can we find out about friendship in this passage here in Ecclesiastes? Well, listen at what he says in verse number 12. One person could be overpowered, but two people can stand up for themselves. So listen to what he says next. A rope made out of 3 cords isn't easily broken. So a rope made out of 3 cords, what does that mean? Well, let's think about it. Here's some rope for us. A rope, I don't know if you've ever noticed it, but a rope is made up of several strands. This looks like one piece of rope, but if you go to the end of it, you can notice that there's actually 3 or 4 pieces of rope that are woven together to make this one rope. And it's very strong at that point. One strand by itself, that's pretty strong rope. But when you put all 3 of them together, it's very strong, and you're not going to break it very easily. Friendship is a lot like that. We're much stronger when we have good friends around us than we would be just left on our own. And you know what? A lot of people think that there's an idea about the rope made up of 3 cords. Or a lot of people think about the rope being made up of 3 cords to help us better understand what friendship is. Because, see, here's the thing. Friends can actually trust God together. I hope you can see that. Friends trust God together. The thing that can really make a friendship strong is when you and your friends all trust and believe in God. You want to have those kind of friends around you, not just now, but for the rest of your life. I have friends in my life that are believers. They've trusted in Christ as their Savior, and they encourage me. They even correct me from time to time when they see me getting off course. And so here's the thing. You can pray with your friends. You can read your Bible with your friends. And when you're doing those things together, and maybe you're separated for a little bit of a time, you can be encouraged because you know you've got a good friend, and most likely they're praying for you in that moment when you're by yourself. So there's nothing better than having a friend who trusts God right there with you. It's super important to have strong friendships. Friends, we've learned to get more done. Friends help each other. Friends stand up for each other. And most important of all, friends trust God together. We should try to be friends with everyone, but when it comes to people that you should be closest to, the ones that you spend the most time with, those are the ones that you really want to listen to. Those who you listen to the most, you need to ask yourself a question. Does this friend help me trust God? Does this friend trust God? Because those are the kinds of friends that you need to be with. Here's our bottom line for today. Choose your friends carefully. That someone, that you'll have a strong friendship with them. And that you can be a friend with them because they have a strong relationship and friendship with God. And that's why it's so important to seek out people who trust God. Your closest friends should help you love God and love others every single day. Let's watch our Bible story video together.
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. Now, for an amazing story, inspired by the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 4, verses 9 through 12.
The writer of Ecclesiastes tells us 2 people are better than 1. They can help each other in everything they do. Suppose either of them falls down, then the one can help the other one up. But suppose a person falls down and doesn't have anyone to help them up. Then feel sorry for that person. One person could be overpowered, but 2 people can stand up for themselves. And a rope made with 3 cords isn't easily broken. Let's see how this might play out in someone's life today. Jackson slid into the small school theater and took a seat in the back row and waited for Mr. Ray, the music and arts teacher. It looked like there was only one other kid who showed up to build the set for the 5th grade production of Charlotte's Web, Amal from Mrs. Wiseman's class. Hey.
Hi.
The 2 boys sat there in awkward silence until Mr. Ray showed up.
Ah, my set team. Fantastic. You guys know each other?
Kinda.
Different classes.
Well, you're gonna get to spend a lot of time together in the next 2 weeks as we build this set and get it painted. You guys got any experience with power tools?
Jackson could see Amal shift nervously in his seat.
No, I don't want to go on stage. Miss Wiseman said I could do this instead.
Don't worry, I'll teach you what you need to know. How about you, Jackson?
I'm pretty good with a hammer, and I didn't want to wear some silly animal costume.
The 2 boys basically ignored each other as Mr. Ray showed them how to measure each piece of lumber for him to cut, and then he helped them lay out the pieces in a large frame.
Now, this'll be one of the wall flats for the backdrop. We'll paint it as part of the barn. Amal, you want to hammer in these nails?
I guess.
I'll hold it more like this. Don't worry, you'll get it.
I'll do this side.
Jackson nailed together the entire flat while Amal still struggled with one corner.
What a klutz.
But it was a different story the next day when they started to paint.
This flat is part of our barn wall. I want you guys to paint a couple of chickens right there.
Amal grabbed a brush right away.
Oh, do you want them to look like real chickens or like cartoons?
Just give them your own personal spin.
Amal got to work right away, creating an entire palette of colors while Jackson was still trying to figure out which brush to pick.
Now, I've got to run down to the art room. Amal, why don't you show Jackson how to get started?
I don't really...
Mr. Ray smiled at them both.
He needs a hand. I think you guys will make a great team.
Mr. Ray hurried out. Jackson and Amal avoided each other's eyes.
Well, I'll sketch an outline for the chickens.
What do I do?
Just, fill it in.
I'm not really an artist.
Jackson dipped his brush randomly in the blue paint and frowned at Amal's outline.
Just have fun with it.
Jackson swiped the blue brush, outlining a wing.
I've never seen a blue chicken.
Oh.
It's great. It'll stand out.
Oh. Thanks.
By the time Mr. Ray returned, Jackson was surprised to discover that he and Amal had already painted 5 brilliant hued chickens. Mr. Ray grinned.
I've never seen a more flamboyant flock.
Jackson held out his fist to Amal, and Amal, surprised, gave him a fist bump.
Yep, see you boys tomorrow.
The next day, Amal showed up with a bruised finger on his left hand.
I can still paint with my right.
What happened?
Mr. Kunkel keeps putting me in as goalie during PE, and then I mess it up, and everyone on the team gets mad at me.
Do you stay on your toes? Keep your eye on the ball?
No, I just panic when the ball comes at me.
Look, I can show you some tips later in the parking lot, before my mom comes.
Really? That would be great.
And you know, Jackson turned out to be a pretty good teacher because Amal managed to get 2 blocks during PE the next day. And when Jackson showed up to paint sets, stressed out by a math test, Amal grabbed his textbook.
Fractions?
I see all these weird numbers and I freeze up.
You just have to break it down like this.
With Amal's help, Jackson managed to stay calm during his test the next day. And by the middle of the next week, they had completed the entire backdrop for Charlotte's Web.
Well done. I knew you two would make a great team.
Amal's pretty okay.
Jackson's not too terrible.
Look, I know you guys are really different from each other, but it's boring if all your friends are just like you.
Together, they started gathering wood scraps and wiping off brushes.
Seriously, one of the wisest men to ever live pointed this out. Solomon.
Solomon?
Yep. He's this king in the Bible. He was a builder and an artist and super rich too. But for all the things he had, you know what he valued most? Friendship. He says it like this: 2 people are better than 1. They can help each other in everything they do.
On point.
Yeah.
Amal held out his fist, and Jackson tapped it with his own. Maybe Solomon and Mr. Ray were onto something.
Wow, Solomon really knew what makes a great friendship. You know, it's important to have friends who help us or encourage us to do our very best. It's important for us to have friends who's always going to have our back. But most of all, we should have friends who help us trust God. So remember, choose your friends carefully. You know, the good news is we have the perfect example of a true friend. No one has ever been a better friend than Jesus. You know, when Jesus died for our sins, He showed us just how much He loves us. And it doesn't stop there because Jesus is always with us, no matter what. Our friendship should always help point us back to Him. So take what Solomon said and think about your closest friends. Do you help each other out? Do you stick up for each other? Do you help each other trust God? If you're not sure, maybe talk to your friends about God and see what they do believe about Him. Maybe it's time to seek out some friends who you know want to follow God and choose to spend more of your time with them. When you spend time with friends like that, you're definitely making the wise choice. So remember, one of the best ways to find a good friend is to be a good friend. If your friend is having a bad day, take some time, ask them what's wrong, and really listen. Remember, God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we should listen twice as much as we talk, right? So if you know your friend feels overwhelmed at school, ask what you can do to help them out. If your friend is stressed out about something at home, ask them if you can pray about it with them. You know, a lot of us had to be away from our friends earlier this year because of the coronavirus. That was really hard, wasn't it? Well, raise your hand if you still found a way to spend some time with your friends, like maybe on the phone or FaceTime or on a Zoom call. Yeah, I did plenty of those myself. And that's awesome. We can help and support each other even when times are hard. We can remind each other to keep trusting God too. Well, look, we've got to wrap things up, but not before we do a memory verse. We've got a brand new memory verse for you this month, and it's from Proverbs chapter 17, and it's verse 17, and it says it together. We'll put it up here on the screen, okay? Here's what it says. A friend loves at all times. They are there to help when trouble comes. Proverbs 17:17. Leave it up on the screen. We're going to read it together on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. A friend loves at all times. They are there to help when trouble comes. Proverbs 17:17. Nerve. All right, kids. Well, listen, we got to wrap this thing up. I've held you up long enough, but I hope to see you back here next week. But just in case, you know the routine. Right hand up in the air. Here we go. High five. I'll see you next week.